If you want more great tutorials like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. The Fetch API is a modern way to make HTTP requests in JavaScript. It is used to fetch data from external resources such as APIs, servers, or files, and handle the responses. Unlike older methods like XML HTTP request, the fetch method returns a promise, making it easier to work with asynchronous code. This example makes an asynchronous HTTP request to an API endpoint that returns a list of posts. Checks if the request was successful by verifying the HTTP response status. If successful, parses the response as JSON, logs the parsed data, the list of posts, to the console. If any errors occur, example network issues or bad responses, it catches and logs those errors. The fetch function is used to initiate a request to a remote server or URL. It returns a promise that represents the response from the server. Here, we are requesting data from the URL, which provides mock JSON data for posts. This then handles the response once the fetch operation is complete. The response parameter here represents the HTTP response object that comes back from the server. The response.OK is a Boolean property of the response object. It is true if the HTTP status code is in the range of 200 to 299, which indicates that the request was successful. If the response.OK is false, we throw an error to indicate the request was not successful. If the response was not successful, this will throw an error. The response.json method parses the body of the response as JSON. It returns a promise that resolves with the parsed data. This is an asynchronous operation because parsing large bodies can take time, so we handle it using a promise. We return the parsed JSON object here, which will be passed to the next then block. The second then block receives the parsed data, the result of response JSON. The data parameter contains the actual data fetched from the server, an array of posts in this case. We log the data to the console for debugging or displaying it. In a real app, you might process or display this data on a web page. Logs the data to the console. You could modify this to display the data in the UI. The .catch block catches any errors that might occur during the fetch operation or while parsing the response. This includes network issues, server errors, or issues during JSON parsing. If an error occurs anywhere in the previous code, fetch or parsing, this will log the error message. This is helpful for debugging and understanding what went wrong. Logs the error to the console. Now run our code. Quick reminder, if you're finding this content helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really helps me create more awesome coding content for you. Thanks so much for your support. Let's get back to coding.